backfield. Can they do it again? Yes, they can!
And the catch is made by Taj Washington. Touchdown, USC.
Blocked by Embiid! Timmy, yes!
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Beef Upfront podcast here on Pick Swap Media. This is your host, Ryan Coyle. As always, back today with another episode, continuing our series, the NBA prospect profiles as we head closer and closer towards the NBA draft. In today's episode, we're going to be breaking down Jordan Hawkins, 6'5" sophomore guard out of UConn, the national champions from this past year, 185 pounds, a 6'7" wingspan. Is already 21 years old, so a little bit older for a prospect, only that's a sophomore, but he showed some major improvement from year one to year two at UConn, and his time jumped, and all his production jumped as well. Only as a freshman played 14.7 minutes per game, scored 5.8 points, and only shot 33% from deep. During his sophomore season, he played close to 30 minutes a game. He shot 40% from the field, 39% from three, 89% from the line, 3.8 rebounds per game, 16.2 points per game. And this is personally one of my favorite players in the entire draft. Not just, prospect translating to the NBA wise, just like from a pure basketball perspective, just a really fun player to watch. And he was really, I think, the key to UConn's national title run this year and was what really made them go. As I said, was a super fun guy to watch, especially over the second half of the season. That's where I really started to track him and kind of pay close attention to him because he just has that like firework type ability where he can get going in a hurry. Like he could be shut out throughout the first half, and then all he needs to do is see one go in the second half, and he can get you 9 points, in 3 consecutive possessions. Like I said, I believe he was the most vital piece to UConn in that national title run. When he got going, the team got going. He was really the energy behind them. His ability, I think, going forward at the NBA level to be like a microwave type shooter for a team is what's going to set him apart. He can knock you down, 3 consecutive threes and help blow a close game. Blow a game that is close. He can blow that thing wide open with his ability to just go off in spurts like that. So I think he's going to continue to get better. We saw that those numbers jump from 33% in his freshman year to 39% last year. We can still see those numbers improve. I think this guy could be like a 43, 44% shooter, and especially in an NBA where he's not going to be the main defensive focus of the opposing team every night. He's going to have plenty of opportunities with floor space and everything. I think he could have a major impact at the next level. I personally would take him over Grady Dick. Grady Dick, probably the second best shooter in this class, in my opinion, behind Jordan Hawkins. The argument that you could have for taking Grady Dick instead of Hawkins is the height at 6'8". Just gives you a little bit more in that regard. But I think upside wise, Hawkins still has some stuff to tap into as well. So in terms of his strength, just picture perfect shooting mechanics. As I said, my personal pick for the best shooter in the draft, and he's got the ability to get it off in a hurry. He's always shot ready, and his footwork coming around screens or catch and shoot scenarios, he's always ready, and he's got a really quick release and is able to get it off. Great ability. I think this is my favorite part about his game. He's got a great ability to change pace and mess with defenders when he's using screens. UConn would just run him off screens and screens and screens and screens and screens, and then another screen after that. And they would usually find him for an open look, but if he wants, he was the most conditioned player, I think, in college basketball this year in terms of just running around and just sprinting at all times. But he's got that ability to where he can stop and start and find a way to use the screen to get open. And I think that's just like a basketball IQ type thing. It's certainly a thing you can teach and you can help a player, but he really knows how to mess with a defender in that regard. And I think that's going to be a really good translatable skill to an NBA team. As I was saying at the beginning too, it just seemed as he would go, UConn would go. And I think that type of energy is translatable to as well, really valuable to an organization because it's one of those things where, all right, we're in a playoff game, 4 minutes left, we're down 8. All right, Jordan just hit a 3. We're starting to feel some energy. We're starting to feel a comeback. All right, he goes down. We get a defensive stop. He hits another 3. It's one of those things where he hits those big threes, those like avalanche type ones. I always would say about UConn, it was like the avalanche is coming. Can you withstand it? And usually it resulted in the other team crumbling because of a nice little run by Jordan Hawkins. The shot looks the same every time, no matter the distance as well. I think that's a very attractive thing where he's got range to his game and he's not afraid to showcase that. But it's not like he's got to change his form up or looks drastically different coming from deep. He's a guy that has what we call in the gym range. Doesn't really let closeouts bother him. Always, like I said, shot ready and always looks the same. This part is growing in his game, but he's still pretty good at it. Coming off screens as a shooter, he's used to teams like trailing him and just chasing him off that line. He's now starting to be able to, we saw it over the second part of the season, find different ways to use screens to get the ball going towards the basket, help him like set up layups and whatnot. Because that's what teams are going to do. They're going to chase him off the line. He's got to be able to use those screens to get to his advantage where, all right, if all these guys are out hugging me, there's going to be an opening in the lane potentially. Let me find a way to take advantage of that. I like his defense as well. He has some springs in his legs where he was able to go up and challenge guys at the rim and block shots. And he's also able to use those springs in his legs, I think, to jump passing lanes and make some pretty high-level, high-energy defensive plays. He's got a really good motor. And as I said, I think he was like the most well-conditioned player in college basketball last season. And that's just really going to help him, I think, at the next level, just never getting tired and being able to be a pest on the defensive end of the floor and just continue to run off those screens and catch and shoot threes. So really big fan of his game. I think he certainly has some room to grow as well, though. We'll talk about that and his weaknesses. Self-creation, it's certainly not a skill of his right now, at least a high-level skill. You aren't going to give him the ball at the top of the key and say, all right, go make a play in a pick and roll, or all right, here's an ISO situation for you. You're going to have to generate offense and opportunities for him, but that's why I think you draft him with a team that has a very good, ball dominant point guard or a ball dominant combo guard that is able to attract a lot of defensive attention, and then you're able to run Hawkins off all these screens and get him wide open. So if he gets the ball open, feet set, it's going in, 80% of the time. 80% of the time most likely. And I also think his defensive ability, he can convert some defense to offense looks there as well. So jumping passing lanes, I was saying, or generating some blocks, and then potentially just streaking down the court and getting found for an open look on the other end. So he doesn't necessarily need to be a shot creator. Everyone's not going to be a perfect prospect. So that's certainly something he's going to have to work at. And as I was talking about getting ran off the line, he does have a pretty nice little pull-up game right now, and he can pull up from deep too. So you're not going to be, as I said, giving him the ball and saying, go to the bucket and get me some points. But if he's able to develop that, he's going to be even more dangerous. Another kid that needs to improve his body, as I was saying, only 185 pounds now. He is a pretty thin kid. So I think as teams are really trying to mess with him on those screens and not letting him, get to his spots on these pin downs and whatnot, kind of holding him off, he needs to get stronger to be able to handle these NBA defenders, I think. So this is a guy I'm super high on. I really like his game. As I said, I would take him over Grady Dick, who is being projected as like a top 10 guy. My projection for Hawkins, I think, though, is going to be towards the back half of the lottery to the early 20s. I don't really see him getting past like 22, 23, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him go as high as like 11 or 12 as well. My comparison for him, I'm going to go with Oklahoma City Thunder guard Isaiah Joe, just a pure sniper for a team. I think he's going to be able to come in and shoot 40%. I know he didn't even shoot 40% in college, but he also did it on a lot of attempts, and it was one of those things like he had to get these shots up because UConn around him didn't really have that much shooting. I think not being the defensive attention each and every night is going to benefit him in this floor spacing, depending on what team he goes to. He's going to really benefit from that. Improve his body to become a stronger defender, I think, is a major key for him. But if he's like your fifth option on your offense and he's averaging 11 points per game, shooting 40%, and you're taking him anywhere between 12 and 22, I think that's a win in your book. It kind of sounds weird saying this as like a guy who's a fifth option and like I'm saying maybe like a 10 to 12 point per game scorer, but he can win you games when he has those hot stretches, those hot moments, those big time shots. He's not afraid to take them. I mean, it was kind of a wild comparison, but I was talking to someone and I said, like, coming off screens, he looks like Klay Thompson, where it just he's always ready, and it always seems like he's going as quick as he wants, as slow as he wants, and he's still getting to where he wants to go, and he's getting it up. And every time it's looking good. I mean, obviously everyone doesn't go in, but he's really good off the screens, looking like Klay Thompson. But I would give him more of a comparison overall to like an Isaiah Joe guy who has really taken advantage of that opportunity with the Thunder after the Sixers let him go. So that is my prospect profile on Jordan Hawkins, my favorite shooter in this draft class. Make sure to stay tuned to the channel. We'll be ripping out a lot more. We've already done Dariq Whitehead, Derek Lively, Jarris Walker. We're going to be getting into Jet Howard, Grady Dick, Anthony Black as well. So plenty more where that came from. Bryce Sensabaugh as well is on our list. And we got some Wembanyama and Scoot Henderson videos as well. So make sure to go check those out. Give us a like, give us a comment. Let me know what you think of Jordan Hawkins in the comments.